Imagine it's late Victorian England. Beneath the fog of Liverpool and Manchester, a group of high-ranking men are getting bored with the standard rituals of masonry. They want something deeper, stranger, and a lot more ancient. So, they look toward the east. Enter the Ancient Order of Zuzimites. First, though, YouTube forces me to beg for likes, comments, and subscribers. Please, the overlords are holding my dog Larry. Like, comment, and sub, or Larry gets it. Okay, back to it. Now, if you haven't heard of the Zuzimites, don't feel bad because hardly anyone has. I almost missed this myself. So they were this fringe order, part of this wild occult revival at the turn of the century. The heavy hitters behind it were guys like John Yarker and Henry Quilliam. These weren't just guys playing dress-up either. Quilliam was a high-powered solicitor, that's an attorney for us in the States, a poet, and eventually the man who founded England's first mosque, and this fact absolutely blew my brain out of its socket. He was a Victorian polymath with a serious taste for the esoteric. So, what was a Zuzimite exactly, and more so, what were they actually doing? This is your breakdown as I understand its texts. They aren't just reciting lines. They are trotting the path of Osiris, and I have no clue what the hell that means. We're talking full-on pharaonic myth, Isis, Set, and the whole Egyptian pantheon stuff here, and its vast man. It's really taxing to try and nail down these vague scribbles or mentions. The ritual was a climb that peaked with something called the Nights of Zered. Again, I cannot explain this other than it was a theatrical blend of life, death, and rebirth, all set against a backdrop of lost knowledge. We've heard this type of talk plenty. They even held their 33rd. That's an interesting choice of numbers. Annual sojourn at the posh Scaris Brick Hotel in Southport back in 1907. Can you imagine the staff's faces seeing a group of Victorian gentlemen heading into a ballroom to reenact the mysteries of the Nile? But here's where it gets more than a little shady. While Quilliam was rising through the ranks, his professional life hit a wall. In 1908, he was mysteriously summoned to Istanbul. I have no records of why or what the reasons were, and a year later, he was struck off the rolls as a solicitor and couldn't practice law anymore. An interesting fact, or a clue. Shortly after, the Zuzimites just faded away into a little-known order that seems gone faster than it arrived. Was it a legitimate spiritual quest for lost wisdom? Or just a very elaborate, expensive hobby for bored Victorian elites? Honestly, it's probably a bit of both. But you have to admit, the idea of a secret Egyptian society operating out of a seaside hotel in England is a pretty wild story. It makes you wonder, what other lost rites are still gathering dust in the basements of history? We'll decode them together, I promise. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye, see you all in the next one.